What is your reason for not having a child? I, myself, am still a child. I use my personality as birth control. I'm a solitary beast and enjoy my alone time. I am barely mentally well enough to care for myself, let alone a child. I haven't always made the best choices. I'm on the spectrum. I just don't think I'm fit to raise a child. Update. I'm very surprised at the amount of feedback my comment received. Thank you. I'm a nanny, I've seen enough lol. I'm a miserable as whole. Why the frock would I want to make a smaller version of myself who's reliant on me and continue the cycle of emotionally closed off asshats? I will never financially recover from this. World bad. Want dad. I like sleep. I don't want to put them first and I believe they should come first. Money, time. No desire at all. My mom used to say having a child is like getting a tattoo on your face. You better be damn certain you really want it. ETA. Holy shit. Thanks for all the updates and awards. You guys are awesome. To answer a few questions. I'm 43F, married for 14 years. My husband and I are on the same page. My mom first said this to me and my sister when we were in high school. So mid-late 90s. She probably read it in a women's magazine. She was a teenage mom and really pressed into my sister's heads that becoming a mom cannot be taken lightly. She was a great mother who unfortunately died in 2010. I'm glad something she told me 20 plus years ago still resonates. I've chosen not to pass on my mental and physical health problems. I can see negative traits from both my mother's and father's family and decided not to continue the line. I do, however, want to adopt, alongside my unwillingness to curse a human with my genetically passed ailments. I also want to care for a child that has been left or abandoned. They need love before I create something that needs love. I don't want to become like my mother. Bad genes. So I'll be adopting a child, teen instead of having a biological child. There are so many kids, teens in desperate need of a home and a loving family and I'd love to make their world. I'm single AF. I guess it's a mix of not wanting my own life to be on hold for 20 plus years and not being convinced I'd be a very good parent. I just have no desire for children. I don't particularly like children nor do I want to be responsible for another life like that. I can barely take care of myself and a cat, never mind a kid. Bro, I barely want to be alive. Why would I give someone else that curse? Myself, F31, and fiancé, M33, have been together 12 years, no kids. Within past few years we've both finally got jobs we've been working towards and a nice income. We like our life, being able to go away for a night or two or out for nice meals as we can afford it, then have quiet evenings watching Netflix. Neither of us want a child enough to actually have one. We talk about it frequently to check we're on the same page, working well for us. I have Crohn's disease and I would never wish this on anybody. My husband and I are too selfish for children. We like having money and being able to do whatever we want when we want. I also had a hysterectomy so I genuinely can't bear children. We love our nieces and nephews and get to spoil them when we want. I was born with a birth defect that is genetic. No way would I ever pass it on to a child. Unlike many on this subreddit, I do like children. What I really dislike are the people who somehow think they are better than you because they have children. Drives me nuts. I'm selfish and love having the freedom to do what I want. When I want. I don't have to adjust my schedule or turn down opportunities. Autism also runs in my family and I don't want that life at all, seeing how much my mom has sacrificed for my special needs brothers. I don't want to be responsible for another human being, and sacrifice my body and time for a baby. Also, feeling helpless when you can't help someone you really love and you need to come to terms of letting go, that scares me shitless. We didn't want to. Which is a very good reason. I believe you should only have a child unless you truly want to, and I just don't have that desire. Raising a child just seems like constant anxiety and stress to me. I like having my own space and life. Watching my older siblings raise their kids seems like a full-time job with very little benefits. Plus giving birth terrified me. I've heard too many horror birth and pregnancy stories. If I had a kid followed by postpartum depression with my already existing mental health issues, I'd be an endangerment to that kid and myself. I see more cons than pros. I want to spend my time, money and health focused on other things. I could barely afford myself. I'd rather have dogs, cats, goats, chickens, a mini donkey, and a horse. Prioritizing my own mental health. That alone is probably a labor of a lifetime for me. Ending the cycle of generational trauma my family has passed down to me. I'd rather spend that time, energy, and money giving to other people who need help, not passing down traits of alcoholism and mental health disorders. It's a moral choice for me about not putting another human into a world stumbling towards an impending environmental crisis, though I don't judge people who have children. No dreams about my future involve children. They don't interest me. And having seen how much of a pressure on a budget and a relationship in friends who have had kids, frock that. I like fun and money. I don't want one. In this economy? Have to share tendies. I like money, sleep, and freedom. I dislike loud noises and snot. Having a kid now is like having an exotic pet. You have to be really rich and kind of crazy. Everything. The state of the world. The state of the environment. The state of the economy. The state of my mental health. The state of my partner's mental health. Don't want to be pregnant. Don't want to give birth. Don't want to be responsible for a whole ass person. Don't want to give up my lifestyle. Don't want to spend the money. Don't want to lose sleep. Just everything. I don't want to be a mother. I don't need a reason beyond that. Expenses, stress, responsibility. I have a lot of mental plus physical problems, so it wouldn't be fair to give that down to her or him. In this world? No thanks. I don't want him or her to worry about the changing climate, upcoming wars, etc. And I like to do what I want to do, anytime I want. Forgot to add. I work myself to death every day, and for what? The possibilities of cancer or other frocked up diseases. The society of today is moronic. I spent many years in school getting stressed out and bullied for nothing since I don't use anything I learned there. Why should I send them there then? Simply don't want them. I'm 16. Have no desire for a child. I have so much exciting plans for myself. But children are not among them. People would call me selfish because of that. But in my opinion, I graduated and I have a job now, it's time to have kids. Agenda is more selfish. Also no stable job. I don't own an apartment, don't have a car, etc. But I like it the way it is. Why would I want to have one, is the real question. I have literally no reason to want one. I can't imagine teaching another human being how to read and count. Dog. Don't wanna. There's a lot of these archived. I'll say it again though, unless I can guarantee the best education, environment, and as many advantages as possible, I find it personally immoral to yank someone out of non-existence just to have them roll the dice at maybe ending up lucky and having a good life despite everything. There's more reasons than that, but that's the big one. And before the knee-jerk reply happens, I find it immoral for myself to do it. Feel free to not justify your life decisions against mine. Spent my childhood being the adult and putting out all the fires and rebuilding the bridges burned down by narcissistic, addict parents. I'm just not interested. Nor do I have the mental and emotional capabilities anymore to be responsible for the life of another human to the extent that a child should be given. Every child and parent I've ever met, I guess. I don't want to watch my kids make the same cringy mistakes I made. This should be the other way around. Having children shouldn't be the default. If you have a reason for having children, i.e., you really want children, that's great. But too many people reproduce just because they have nothing else to do, which is messed up. I'm a teacher who wanted kids before my career started. Now feeling like I partially raise students, fully mindful that I don't bear the exact long-term responsibilities parents do. I don't want to come home and have further responsibilities. Nor do I have any maternal desire to bring another human into the world. Welcome to the world. Little one. Have fun as it burns to the ground before you turn 30. I'm a climate doomer at this point. We've turbo-frocked the planet in a million different ways, and it's unlikely my child would have the same life I have had. Even if climate change didn't exist, I don't think I'd want to bring a child into the world we built. I like my lifestyle. I don't like kids and I don't want to be pregnant. Climate change. Very expensive. The influence of other children who have not been raised properly. Too many people on the planet already. The pain of pregnancy and risks alongside plus stretch marks and loose skin. The higher risk of developing a psychological disability. I used to give various reasons. Bad genes. The world sucks. Rather adopt than add to population. ECT. Now I've just come to the conclusion that I enjoy freedom and money. 2 things kids will drain you of. Many reasons. 1. They're very expensive. If I had a kid, I would have no money for myself. 2. They are time consuming. If I had a kid, I would have no time for myself at all except at work. 3. They are loud. My mom is partially deaf in one of her ears because of my sister. 4. They could turn out bad. Even if I was the best parent in the world, and have them a completely normal upbringing, they could just be a psychopath, or have a mental disability where I would have to take care of them for my entire life. 5. I just don't like kids. Don't get me wrong. Kids are cute, but I would rather be the cool uncle that appears at Thanksgiving that everyone likes. I love peace and quiet. I can't even take care of myself. Being in the presence of others exhausts me. Absolutely no time, patience, interest or money enough for a sprog. And also a lifelong, absolute absence of desire to have kids. Kids are a prison sentence, 18 to life. I believe when you have a child, your life is no longer your own. You forfeit being the main character of your story. If you are not ready to give up that ownership of your life, don't have a child. This is not a slight against either choice. However, this is the choice. Responsibility. As a woman, I feel I would have to do more of the work no matter how great my partner is. No days off. Oh, you're sick AF? Still have to wake up and take care of your child. Responsibility doesn't stop at 18. It's a lifetime commitment. I find them extremely mentally and physically draining to the point that I dread having to be around them even for a short period of time. Don't want to pay for education. I like money and happiness. Bold of you to assume there's only one reason. The future looks bleak. It's one child, Michael. What could it cost? $10? I believe you should have a strong reason to have a kid. Not having kids should be the default option. Personally, it hasn't been the right time yet. I was seriously starting up the foster parent process before the pandemic and then things got weird. I was worried about job security and didn't want to bring an already vulnerable child into that situation. Now that things are more stable, I'm looking into it again, making sure I'd have a good support network and that I'm mentally and physically prepared to be there for a kid who has been through trauma. I don't want a biological child because I have no desire to be pregnant. And I worry about bringing a kid into the world right now. I feel much more called to parent, not necessarily have a child of my own blood. So foster parenting and adoption are the routes I've chosen. First of all, I just don't have the desire to have children. I never have. Secondly, my mom wasn't a good mom. And I don't know if I would be either. They are expensive. They end your freedom. You can't return the bad ones. And they're frocking optional. Personally, I've had a real sit life and there's no way to guarantee my kid wouldn't have a similar sit life. I could do everything in my power to give my child a good life and still come up short. The planet is dying. We live in a dystopia, and my family has a history of major mental and physical health issues. Frankly, I don't like the idea of making choices for another sentient being. If I could have been given a choice between being born and not being born, I would have taken the latter. I don't want to be pregnant. I really like lying on my stomach. Also, I just like doing what I want, paying for only myself, not having to think twice about how my decision will affect a child, etc. I don't like kids and they seem like they would be a burden to me. I like my sleep and I like money. Can't carry to term. Miscarried twice. I'm not psychically nor economically able to take care of a child yet. I've seen children in public places screaming, shouting, throwing tantrums, smashing things, running away, being disobedient. I've heard stories from friends and coworkers who have kids telling me how tired, stressed, poor and fed up they are. I'd rather enjoy myself and not go through that. Gay, mildly depressed, and single. It wouldn't be fair to bring a child into this world the way it's going right now. I am ace. I don't like children that much and the world is frocked. There are lots of reasons, but the number one is that parents always look miserable. Too many reasons to list, but here are a few. 1. I don't enjoy being around children. 2. They cost insane amounts of money and resources that I would rather dedicate elsewhere. 3. The world is frocked and by not having kids I'm not subjecting them to the frocked world and not contributing to the world being more frocked. They're an expensive, 18-year commitment in which I have no interest in partaking. I have no desire to have children. I work with kids and have seen enough to know I don't want any of my own. I love my friends' kids. They are wonderful and I really enjoy spending time with them. But at the end of the day, it's nice to not have a child at home to take care of. And I'm not prepared to make the changes to my life that having a child would mean. My life is great as it is. The planet is dying. Edit. To clarify, I'd love to have kids. Being a parent is something I would love to do. I'm just not optimistic about our survival odds as a species due to climate change and don't think it's fair to bring another life into this shitstorm when I, myself, can't even see a light at the end of the tunnel. That would be irresponsible and kind of a dig move. In my mind, I'd much rather just ride the wave carefree knowing I won't be causing anyone else to suffer an entire lifetime on a planet that's slowly becoming more and more inhospitable. I never wanted the responsibility. Too many things on my to-do list. 45 and no regrets. The real question for me is what's the reason to have a child? So many reasons not to.